Bon appetit.
What'd you make? I made a burrito. Dude, you're the best. Perfection. Thanks, Cody.
Is it good?
So next is going to be what it's going to be, well, it's called a chest pack. But I look at this as basically my mobile office. And the more I get into a role of having roles of responsibility and being in charge of crews, the more important this is. So these are going to come all different configurations. You get some guy that's really got a lot going on, division supervisor. I've even seen these set up where he carries 2 radios.
Yeah, or a 2-channel UHF, VHF, or local band will be a separate radio, smaller radio.
He may be running 2 divisions. There's lots of reasons. That's way outside of what we're talking about. Yeah. But this is still something, if you are getting into engine boss or crew leader, that you need to have, because it's several things you're going to have here. So I keep my watch on here. I'll wear this on my wrist, but a good watch that's reliable is essential.
With
an extra compass.
Yep.
Yeah, and careful with these things. A lot of these are really cheesy or low quality. These band compasses.
Oh, yeah.
But this is called the, how do you pronounce that? Is it Suunto?
Suunto. Sunto. It's Japanese.
Of the compass company, there's this and Silva are the 2 good ones. Yeah. This is called the, I can't remember. Clipper.
Clipper.
The Clipper, and it's one of the few good ones you can actually get that you can rely on. Watch is essential because timestamps are critical.
Yep.
You're dealing with aircraft, you're dealing with schedules. I cannot believe how many guys go on the fire without a watch.
Yeah, don't be the guy that only has basically your phone. Have an actual watch. It's better if you have a digital watch, something that's got a backlight that you can read. You can set it to military time. We run on military time.
Yeah, digital's the best.
If you're spinning weather and stuff, you have to do it on a time-based system, so that you need to know exactly what the time is whenever you're doing tasks and stuff like that.
I lost my $2,000 Tag Heuer on a wildland fire because of the band.
So this is probably where you're thinking, why was he taking a $2,000 Tag Heuer onto a wildland fire? And Cody did that because...
Well, you know, it's not they supposed to be tough? Don't you see the guy in Everest with one, and the race cars guy's got one, and
Cody,
and
just because it says it is doesn't mean it actually.
Well, the reason why I lost it was because one of these pins broke, and it was the original band. So I use these Zulu bands. One, they're the most comfortable watch band out there, and 2, you get a second chance. The way they're designed and the way they thread through here is that if one of these pins breaks, the second one still holds. See how it's woven in there?
Oh, I understand. So your whole entire thing just doesn't come flying off.
So a traditional watch like the one that I watch, this pin broke. It came off on my wrist on a fire and it was forever gone. This one here, so a Zulu band like that is, what are they, $15-20? If you have a nice watch or you just don't want to lose your watch, that's what you want.
Gotcha.
Right there.
And everybody could see that what he's talking about is that it's not just these 2 pins, it's actually pinned and then it's strapped across underneath.
Correct.
For all you guys
right.
out there.
In my chest pack, I'm also going to carry a just your very basic entry-level, old-school Garmin GPS. A lot of guys, again, rely upon their phones, but the phone's batteries die, and you can't, once they're dead, they're dead, unless you're prepared. We'll talk about that. We'll talk about that more. But this is always going to work, and it's going to run off AA batteries, which you're going to have loads and loads of, and it's always going to be there. So the first thing I do when I get out in the morning in meetings is I get this turned on, make sure it's oriented, and I have that. Don't often use it, but it's there and it's light, and I carry it.
Do you need to have it? You do not need to have it.
Do not need to have it.
But it's super nice if you have one.
But yeah, if you want to look like if you want to look like a rock star in a moment where someone's asking for coordinates and no one has any idea what's going on, you can pick up the radio and you can save the day.
Yep, you're the guy.
You're the guy. Also, I'm going to keep my good pen here, which is Fisher Space Pen, which is one of my favorite things. This is one I won't loan out. That's why I keep the crummy one. Because I gave this to a guy in a morning briefing one time, and I chased him around for 3 days to get it back.
Yeah, and you'll notice if somebody asks you for a pen and you hand it to them, if they look at the pen before they start writing, That means you just handed them a really good pen, and you have to tell them, "Give me that back."
Yeah, I don't give this pen, so it's black, so no one knows I even have it. Right there, see how it blends in like camouflage?
I was just gonna say, oh, you should like paint red on it so you can see it if you drop it somewhere. I'm like all worried you're gonna lose your $2,000 space pen.
No, they're only like $20. This is all by design, Alan.
I hear
all
you.
by design. So these two things right here are the most important items that you can have, and they're always on my chest pack, and they're always right with me. And it's my Ride in the Rain tablet and the Fisher Space Pens. These are designed for this paper, so they won't run. Just because it says Ride in the Rain, most pens, when it gets sweaty, it'll run, but these will not, and they'll write upside down, and they'll write on anything. So again, you get instructions one time. And if you forget what road to turn on, and you forget what the division brake was, and if you forget what radio frequency air is operating on, you do not want to be that guy that says, division supervisor, get on the radio. What was that again? You just don't want to be that guy.
So just a quick little story. One of the fires that I was working on, our division supervisor kept calling our task force leader Buddy. And which was not his name. He just kept, task force leader Buddy.
Yeah.
And he's just like, my name's not Buddy, it's Shaw. And I like every single person was like, Buddy. And I remember watching three guys pull out.
No one had the courage.
Yeah, they were like, wait, I thought his name was Shaw. So we're all like, Shaw, Buddy.
And that's what I'm writing every fire, and every day gets its own page. And so in morning briefing, you can see the guys that are serious on the fire, the morning briefings, because you're just furiously writing, because that information is coming so fast. You want to know names of everyone, because when you're hearing the radio traffic, and you're hearing, they'll use names sometimes before the engine numbers are assigned. You need to know all that stuff. It's so essential. So you have to have this. I don't care who you are.
Oh, yeah.
Or if you're the first year firefighter or you're a strike team leader, you need to have this on you at all times.
Spend the $5. They're $5.
Spend the $5.
And I would get 5 of them if one of your crewmates doesn't have one. Like, even in general, I write everything down.
Everything.
Even if I'm not in any position that I need to be doing it, I'm still going to do it because I want to know. If something happens and you're with somebody and, you have to go run back to the truck for something, it's like, wait, did he need 5 or 6 of those? There's nothing more embarrassing than like, hey, I know you just told me this 10 minutes ago, but did you want 5 or 6 of those things? It's like, what?
You can't have that.
I just happen to have written it down, and I'm not going to say that it saves the day, but you do have a written record if something goes wrong.
It makes you stand out. It shows people that you're serious about this and you're not just there for a paycheck.
And you're accountable.
And these things, so I date every morning. Date them, and then when this is full up, you put this in your file. And when you're working on task book or you have questions or you're going back like, man, I needed to get that signed off in my task book. That guy said he would sign it if I mailed it to him. What was his name? You can go back and flip through it on the fire, and you can you'd written that stuff down. Yeah. It's absolutely essential.
What else you keep in there?
Well, the only other thing I keep in here is a waterproof case for my phone.
Your iPhone 6 Plus.
iPhone 6 Plus. And this is completely submersible, waterproof case.
Tethered to your harness.
Tethered to my harness. And iPhones are becoming increasingly more important on the fire ground.
Yeah.
Mapping, primarily.
I was just gonna
we use an app called PDF Maps, and we actually, because the guy that I was with on our engine was, both of us had the mapping system, we had that's it right there, had the understanding how to use it, we got a really cherry assignment to go and to map the entire fire line, because it was so big and there wasn't any aircraft available. So we took our phones and we actually walked. It took us all day, walked the entire fire line, and it was great. It was fun to do it. We brought our phones back. They plugged them into the computers. They downloaded all of our waypoints, and it was super slick. And again, because we had made these preparations, we got that fun job to do where everybody else was out mopping up sagebrush.
Yeah.
So look for those opportunities and train yourself as well as possible, and have these things so you can get the jobs and you can look like be a professional. And I'm going to carry extra pair of croquis in here.
Oh,
to tether my glasses.
Boring.
No, that's it. That's the mobile office.
So that's what goes in yours?
Yes.
So yours is nice and small and petite. Cody gave me this last year when I started off. Mine's a little bit older.
That's my old one, yeah.
Old traditional style. This is made by Cascade Fire Equipment here in Oregon. You know, square format, much larger, probably going to be a lot heavier. Can carry a lot more stuff. Radio.
But it's got the big kangaroo pocket, which is really nice.
Which I was going to show them in a minute.
Oh, sorry, I was stealing your thunder there.
Steal my thunder. Radio goes in here. Spare bats can go in here. I happen to keep other stuff. If I don't, I keep extra flagging tape. If it gets pulled off of something, I'll actually keep hold of it just in case I need to label something else. Extra lighter, always needed for various stuff.
Walk a mile for a camel.
Walk a mile for a camel. That's where I keep my compass myself. Again, same thing on a tether. It's attached right there. What else? Spare bats go in here. Apparently a love note. So every once in a while, task force leader, your little fire is all the way over here. You're going to go down this hand line. You're going to tie into this dozer.
That's often what you have to work off of, something like that, or worse.
Yeah, so that's what I actually keep in there. Spare pen, spare Sharpie goes in there. And then in my kangaroo pouch on the side goes other stuff. So for me, again, can't have too much TP. It's right on me all the time. These are, this is a photocopy of one of our division maps that we're working on. So you can actually see what the layout of your fire is going to be, what branch you're going to be a part of, what division you're going to be working in, all of your pertinent information and details. I have a general habit that I get a little bit nervous if I get lost. So I do everything that I'm allowed to and I can to make sure that I'm, again, self-sufficient. So I'll ask if I can I grab yesterday's map off of my squad boss or my task force leader, engine boss, so at least I have a map on me in case I get lost or something happens. I can reference back to this. I can write information.
That's a good point on maps because not everyone gets a map.
Not everybody gets a map.
There's morning briefings, and usually the folks that are attending the morning briefings are going to be in a supervisor role. They'll get the maps, they'll have the maps, they'll go back and they'll just basically tell the crew what to get. But that's a really good point because the old maps, the maps are updated every day.
Yeah.
And the fire is fluid and changing, so you can usually ask someone and get an old map, which is good enough.
Yeah. And your highlighter, again, it's something that I can mark. This is the road that we came in on. This is going to be our section that we're going to be working on. I've got a visual reference. My engine boss and crew bosses love it when I carry these things. So that they themselves have an immediate reference point of like, oh yeah, that's where we're working today. You know, keep track on this map. Where are we actually going on the road? And I'll follow along with the highlighter just to kind of make sure. That's a great idea. One
thing that I'm also worried about getting lost or not being able, looking like a fool in front of your engine company because you drove in there, you don't remember how to get out. What I'll always do is I'll turn on the tracks feature on my GPS as well as on my phone. And what that does is it basically just leaves a little line behind you. Worst case scenario, you can follow, you can backtrack and follow it back out.
Did you mention what that program is called?
PDF Maps.
PDF Maps.
And it's free.
Through Avenza. It's free. You download all the maps in the whole entire region that you're going to be stationed on fire beforehand.
Because you won't have self-service. But the thing about the PDF maps that is so appealing to Wildland is that it doesn't require...
you don't need actual cell service
to run it.
It runs off the downloaded free map. You can sit there and
track it.
Provided
you downloaded them before you left.
Provided you down. So what I would do as an engine mate or on the hand crew is I would pull it up as we're driving in. I would set the track. It would follow in. Squad boss, task force leader's like, oh, that's really cool. So you're actually tracking where we are. We would go to 4 or 5 different spots within 2 or 3 days. And, crew boss would say to one of our task force leader, jump in one of the rigs, take the rest of the guys in this squad, go over to that porta tank, and drop point 13 and go and grab that. We may have gone through a shortcut. I can pull that up on the map. We know exactly where we're going.
Yeah, again, being prepared. And I do the same thing with PDF maps. So when we drive by, okay, here's a place we can draft from. Here's a water supply.
Yeah.
Okay, here is drop point 1. Here's drop point 14. Here's drop point, all of those things. So when I'm on the radio, and the guys, okay, I want you to meet me, the division supervisor, many times, or the STL will want a face-to-face meeting. I want you to meet me at drop point 13.
Yeah.
Well, if you weren't paying attention, and it's early in the morning, and you drove in, and now you're scrambling. It's like, oh, where's drop point 13? He's waiting for you. You got to get there.
Yeah.
And so having that right there and making sure that those are all marked, it's a tremendous responsibility, and it's a lot of stuff coming at you really fast. It's like it's hard to explain, but
it's like a fire hose of information.
It's like drinking a fire hose. Pants.
Pants, Miss Pants. Where is Miss Pants?
All right, so the pants are typically going to be green, sometimes tan, and the way I configure these is it's always the same. I keep a handkerchief in the back left. I'm not carrying very much of my pants because the way that the pack is configured, it pushes on your pockets, and you can't get to them anyway. So that's why my Leatherman is on the pack, and I'm not carrying a dedicated pocket knife. So these are basically throwaway pockets.
Yep.
But the cargo pockets on the side are not. These are the leg pockets, and so what I'm going to keep there on the right hand is going to be usually my maps are going to go in here that I'll be issued. Wildland belt. I mean, this is part of it. I don't think we need to go in that, but my maps and paperwork that are specific for the day are going to go in my right pocket. It's always there, and then on my left pocket, I'm going to carry two things, which is going to be my IRPG, as well as an additional field notes deal. I have been in a situation where things were coming so quickly that I didn't have the time to get my pouch open and get that out of there.
Oh, you just literally reached in your cargo, pulled it out, just jotted it down quick.
Right. When if I think something's coming, my hand's down in my pocket on them. These come out together because either I'm going to need to reference my IRPG or I'm going to need to write something down. So I have a second one here for that just because I don't want to miss anything. So again, pants, there's going to be the stuff that you're issued, which are just pretty much generic. If you want to buy your own stuff and you want to be more comfortable, you can always have that option. These are a high-end pant, more of a top of the line. It's going to give you just additional features. They're going to fit better. They're going to have vents, which these are the most wonderful things.
I cannot tell you how many people would talk to me on a fire when they would see either the logo and they would know, or they'd look at the pant and be like, "Hey, where'd you get those pants, man? How are those?"
Oh, me too.
And it seems kind of silly, like, oh yeah, there's a couple of zippers for ventilation. Oh my God, how amazing that is!
It is amazing, and they fit so much better. They're articulated at the knee.
Yeah.
They're paneled. You can see, they're not just one piece like wearing a big tube sock.
Yeah.
They're all paneled. They're all gusseted. So the fit is extraordinary, and it's like, okay, well they look good or they fit better, but be in them when they haven't been washed for 5-6 days, and you're in them for 14-16 hours, and when you start getting into chafing and being uncomfortable, it's the little things, being able to keep your thighs and your legs cool, prevents you from getting dreaded heat rash. It's all these little things all play into it, and if you're fortunate enough to have a company that understands that and is willing to outfit their guys with the good stuff, then you're lucky. It's not always going to be the case, and it's actually pretty rare.
Yeah.
But I've never been on a fire where I haven't had half a dozen people come up and ask about these. Like, where'd you get those?
Are they really worth it? It's true. And the same thing with the pack system that we use. How do you like it? Is it really worthwhile? There's pros and cons to everything. My advice when it comes to personal protective equipment, this kind of stuff, and again, if you're working for companies or other agencies, they will issue you your Nomex, your yellows and greens as we call them. My advice, if you have the money, if not, don't sweat it. Don't go dumping a whole bunch of cash if you can't really afford it for like your first fire. Wait until you get the paycheck. But buy one pair. Buy one pair of yellows and greens that are yours, that fit you, that work good for you. If you have the extra money, spend it on something that's got the vent system so that you're comfortable. You will still be issued another pair. You go into every fire with 2 pair, and you keep the other ones. You work for 7 days in these, rotate out for your other ones, switch them back. A lot of times you'll have laundry services at a lot of the fires at ICP
Only
camp.
the big fires.
The bigger fires will have.
Yeah.
And if you've got laundry service, wear these for the 4 or 5 days, turn them into laundry, you get them back the next day, you're good to go.
Yeah, you need 2 pair.
Yeah.
And that's going to go into more of our camp bag.
Yeah.
The only other thing that I'm going to add to this is this is going to be definitely agency specific, but we have proprietary radios that only run off of these batteries. So
is that for your local?
For the local department,
okay.
Yeah. And we don't have the Bendix Kings, so we have to check those out when we're there. So oftentimes on the smaller fires, local fires, I keep an extra battery charged up for that and then I think I gave you one of these, right? This is an incident commander organizer. Unfortunately, I don't think they make them anymore. But what it does is there is a protocol that you need to follow when you show up and assume command of a fire until real command gets established.
Right.
And it's very confusing. You've got a million things coming at you, and this is just basically a nice simple checklist. It's kind of the principle that NASA uses. Like, okay, retro rockets don't fire. What do? We get that booklet and flip through it. It gets you going down the line and doing things correctly. And is a reminder. Okay, did I check weather? Okay, am I tracking all my resources? All that type of thing. So, yeah, you could do the same thing on the small right in the rain. This is a better option. So if you have aspirations to be in any type of leadership position, start thinking about trying to find something like this or put it together yourself.
Will it tell you how to reorient the LEM and get it back to Earth?
Yes, yeah. This is the same one they used on Apollo 5.
That is stupendous.
Yeah. Yeah, actually, it's got a signature on the back, Tom Hanks.
Oh, you're special. We know it. All right. So that's all of our PPE, personal protective equipment.
Covers PPE. Now the big one. Goodness.
Oh, all right. So now this is going to be the next video. So now we're going to talk about what goes in what's called our war bag, or it's also called your red bag. A lot of times if you get it from a company, it's actually red. Cody's going to dance on the table now, apparently.
I just want to make
Are you
sure
checking?
that the camera's
still there?
Running. Quick note on gloves. We forgot to cover gloves. Very, very important.
Very.
I mean, your hands.
Unbelievably important.
Hands are doing. So some guys, I see that you kind of like the lighter weight, the more of your farm style leather gloves, working style gloves.
Yeah. Is that what you call them? I didn't realize that.
Well, the wildland gloves that they issue are double thick, which some guys don't like them for a couple reasons. They're harder to break in, and they're not very dexterous.
They're not very dexterous at all. No,
but on the other hand, I like them because I treat them, I cover them with Obanoffs, and that helps a lot, as I see that you do too. Not only does it waterproof them because you're dealing with like hoses and they're leaking and appliances, and your gloves get wet and then they're kind of miserable.
Well, so basically what happens, if you've never gotten actual leather gloves wet, when you get any of these gloves wet, as soon as they start drying, they shrink and they become hard as a rock.
Interesting, not all of, you know why they do that?
Why they do which part?
Cheap gloves.
Cheap gloves.
Like these. What they do at the manufacturer is when they get the hides, they wet the hide, they stretch it. They stretch it to maximize it, and then they punch the glove patterns out.
Yep.
So when it gets wet, it goes back to its original form.
Yeah.
High quality gloves, there are companies that make them. You know how much they cost for a pair of work gloves?
They're like 35, 45 bucks.
They're like $100.
Oh my.
They're handmade. There's guys, the ranchers that work down in California and Arizona use them where they have these burrs that just go through gloves. These guys claim that they can have these things for years, one pair, and they won't go through there. But what happens they don't do that. They don't stretch their leather, so when they get wet, they don't shrink.
Yeah.
So that's neither here nor there.
Yeah. Well, I think overall, in general, some of the wildland gloves are really super heavy. I noticed that when they got wet, they do shrink a lot, and they're super tough to get on and off. Your hands are going to sweat unbelievably, which contributes to it even more. I'm going to say no matter what gloves you guys get, treat them with Obanoffs. Yeah. It is a lifesaver when it comes to gloves. They're easy to get on and off. If you've got like burns and scrapes or something, the actual Obanoffs itself helps healing. It helps as an antiseptic as well. It breaks in the gloves a whole lot better.
Moisturizer.
It's moisturizer.
Yeah,
it's like a little moisturizer.
It's like Calgon, take me away type of thing, right?
Totally is. So I end up getting just heavy duty, regular farmer's gloves, I guess is what they are.
Yeah, just leather work gloves, like the ones you get at Costco.
Yeah.
These are going to be much thinner.
Yep.
Much more comfortable.
A lot more dexterous.
But if you pick up something really hot, like if you're doing mop up or anything like that, these are a little light sometimes.
Sometimes.
These are like a welding glove.
Yeah, which I don't know, dude. That would drive me crazy for 14 hours. That would drive me nuts.
Well, I see the interesting thing about these is you see these are inside out, right?
Somebody special.
No. So what happened was, what was happening was, see all of the soft leather they were putting on the outside.
So soft tan leather on the outside,
split leather on the outside.
Split rough leather.
So years ago, wildland firefighters, many of them started turning their gloves inside out. And so the Forest Service finally caught on, or the FSS folks, and see these are manufactured inside out.
They're made to be inside out.
Yeah, you see they've got
So all of your seams are in which direction?
Yes, the seam, well, they're still sewing them the same way.
And then they turn them inside out for you.
Yes, they sew them inside out. And so
Gotcha.
basically what you get is you get a much softer material against your skin rather than the split hide.
Interesting.
So that's something to consider. So you can turn them inside out. Some people have said that they've had a good luck with that.
Yeah, I think it's interesting because I don't. And again, with maybe it's a little bit thinner of a glove. They're still heavy duty. You got the palm patch. But again, once you start treating them with open offs a couple times inside and out, treat them both ways. Once you start using them on fire, this just happens. These are a full year old.
They get the nice patina.
Yeah, they get tanned. They actually get a nice outer crusty coating that protects just as well. So what's interesting is that this is how...
Same glove.
This is how this started out.
Right.
A year and a half ago, 35 days on fire, 40 days on fire, random other housework, random other stuff in the woods, and they're still going strong. Perfectly well, seams and everything hold up. Get these ones specifically that have the leather with the nice grommet so that you can actually carabiner and connect your gloves.
Yeah, that's important. And also, if you're working in an area where stuff is falling down, get something that's high, because there's an open skin area here between your shirt. I have my shirts, I order long, so they cover down over here. That's why wildland shirts, you'll notice they have really long sleeves.
Yeah.
And you'll be able to tie that around there, because, man, you get those hot embers down in here, and it's really painful. So this does two things. This kind of keeps anything from getting down into your glove, as well as giving you a really great place to hang them. Yeah,
if you're carabiners and stuff. If for some reason you get gloves, or you're issued gloves, or you're taking your own, you can always grommet it.
Did you do that?
I did do that.
That is nice. Look at that.
Can't hurt. Nice big fat grommet. There is one giant downside to that, though.
You put the smooth side on your skin.
I did.
I was going to look at this and think, oh, you put it on backwards. And
Yes,
no,
I did.
he's been thinking.
I was thinking. There's one giant downside. If you do end up doing that, yes, you can just cut a hole and you're fine. The grommet's great because it's heavy duty. Get the slightly larger size. Don't get the little tiny one.
Well, here's what happens with the hole.
Yeah.
Is that it's hard to get it in there.
Yeah.
It's down here on your side, and so you don't. And so you sit your gloves down and you lose them.
And then you lose them really quick.
Yeah, it's got to be, whatever it is, think ease of use. Always ease of use and speed.
Don't get the ones that have the plastic tabs and stuff. A lot of guys will just cut this off and they'll end up doing the grommet thing, because these things will get hot and they'll start melting. Especially this plastic stuff actually goes through the glove itself. It'll melt onto your wrist.
Hand. Nice.
It's not really cool. The one downside, if you do end up going to that route, is if for some reason your gloves do get super hot for whatever reason, it's like the Levi rivet on your jeans sitting by the fireplace. Nobody likes that.
Or the dryer.
Or the dryer, nothing's better than a nice
Yeah.
dryer pair of pants, and then you put them on and...
You know, I've never seen this grommet trick before. That is really a good idea.
See?
And it's a big one, too.
Chock-a-block full of good ideas, baby.
Okay, well that's
gloves.
That covers gloves.
So, there you go. There's the brand that I use. If you guys want to specifically have the super awesome, good-looking style, that's what I end up using.
And I like the big, thick Forest Service issued welding gloves.
Manly gloves. All right, that's gloves. Glad I got that out of the way.
I think Heart Racer one's in.
Is that Heart Racer or is that Miss Pants?
Those are pants. All right, you ready? All right, now we're getting serious. This is the camp bag.
Oh,
you got yours there?
I'm not putting mine on the table. You go right ahead there,
You're
big
not?
guy.
Well, let's do them together.
All right, I'm gonna leave mine on the ground.
Okay, so philosophy behind the bag is, again, this is not going to be these are not waterproof, but they're almost. And I have seen many times where these are going to be riding on the side of the engine, and the tank gets overfilled, and the water's pouring out, no one's paying attention, right on top of everyone's sleeping gear. And so they get back to the tent after a 16-hour day, and what do you think they come home to?
Wet stuff.
Wet stuff.
Nobody likes wet stuff.
If you have the means, if that's something to consider, either a waterproof style bag like this or a really good drum liner. Don't get like the hefty stuff, but get the. I'll show you.
They're cold drum liners.
Yeah,
55 gallon that goes into the 55 gallon garbage.
They're usually orange. They're super thick. It's the type of thing that they put plutonium in and bury it. They're like that heavy duty.
Plutonium.
Plutonium. Okay, so where are we going to start?
Start with the big stuff.
Let's start with Thermarest, because that's what's handy. You got yours handy there? I cannot emphasize the importance of a good Thermarest.
There is a video in the archives of Cody's channel that deals with not having a Thermarest.
Did we talk about? Oh yeah, the last fire.
Yeah.
So Thermarest technology has come a long ways in the last couple of years. This particular one here is the Q-Core SL insulated, the Big Agnes, and what this essentially is a big 4-inch thick air mattress.
Wow.
And it's insulated, and it is incredible.
That's for the Big Agnes sleeping bag system, blah, 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 from REI?
Yes. And these things cost a fortune. I mean, I just choked when I bought it. But look at the form factor. Look how small it is. The weight is almost nothing, and it's I kid you not, it's this thick. And it's pillowed. You can lay on your side, me at 200 pounds, I can lay on my side, and my hip is not in the ground.
Really?
You can throw it on the rocks. So whatever you get, make sure it's comfortable, because you are going to need to get your sleep. Yours looks big.
It's extra large. Cody and I are pretty much roughly the same size.
Yeah, I get an XL too, or the long version.
It's extra large, longer version. I think it's 10 or 20 degree rated insulated. Just your regular Thermarest self-inflating pad.
That's the downside to this one, is you huff and you puff and you...
So you have to huff and puff the 4-inch?
Oh yeah.
Wow.
It's not self-inflating. If I was tearing this down every night, I would not have it.
Because it takes so long to get it going and then inflate it. Yeah.
But my situation, it's usually it's set up and it's there for the duration of the whole deployment.
I dig it.
So
yeah, love mine.
Consider that.
You don't always have to have something. I worked on one of the fires. Younger guy that I was working with didn't have one. Just slept right on the ground. God bless his little heart.
Oh, I see it all the time.
Those of us of a certain age need something.
This is that drum liner I was telling you about.
Wow.
So it's not light, but this is not a
This
is not a weight. I'm not conscious of weight. I have 45 pounds I can keep in this bag.
It's like a giant slab of Velveeta cheese. Can I make a sandwich out of that?
Yeah, it's super. It's and you can cover your whole bag with that. Roll it up, put some tape on it, and it's completely waterproof. So if it's you need to leave your stuff at camp, and a number of reasons. So have something that you can get around your entire bag.
I like it.
What you got there? You pull out the next one there.
So
I think we're probably pretty comparable.
Yeah. So I've got compression sack sleeping bag.
Oh yeah.
I think mine is 20 degree. I think it's a 20 degree rated bag. North Face, I believe. Mine is. I cannot stand coffin style sleeping bags. I don't know about you.
I hate them.
There is nothing that makes me more freaked out and claustrophobic than the form fit. And I know that there's a reason for that. I get it. Please don't leave that stuff in the comments.
My feet get hot. And you can't put them out.
Okay, wow.
Well,
really?
when I sleep in a sleeping bag, I regulate my core temperature with my feet.
Okay, that's weird.
It is. It's like radiators.
No, that's fine. That's fine. But at least for me, the big thing is having the extra large, and it's oversized for bigger people. Mm-hmm. You can actually roll around, move around. You can unzip the whole entire thing, open it up. You've got some space. You're not completely confined and claustrophobic. Yeah, it gets incredibly hot when you're working on fires, but in camp, it gets super damp. Late at night, you're going to be getting up at 4 o'clock in the morning. Keeps you nice and warm. It's easy to regulate. But the big thing is the compression sack is fantastic. Sleeping bag comes out, gets set up on my Thermarest. This sack becomes my laundry bag. Mm-hmm. So as stuff gets disgusting, it goes in this, gets closed up, contained.
So speaking of laundry bags, so you're going to generate laundry. So let's say you could be out for 14 days. 14 days. 14-day deployments. You need to have 14 days worth of, a lot of things you're going to rewear, like your Nomex. But things you can't rewear are 3. Socks,
underwear,
T-shirts, and knickers. That's for our UK folks.
UK, sorry.
Knickers. You need 14 of each. Mm-hmm. We'll get into more. So I carry a dedicated laundry bag because I want it to breathe a little more and get dried out.
I want mine to breathe as little as humanly possible.
Okay, well, I have it out of the tent.
Yes.
But
stinking up the rest of camp.
Because I've had those before and it actually started to mold.
I don't care.
Okay. I get that.
It's going to laundryman. It's going to get all washed out.
Sleeping bag, I'm the exact same philosophy. Extra long, and I've got just the old kind of it's lightweight, but it's just rectangle. Yeah. Where sometimes I don't want to be in a bag, and I can just unzip it and just kind of use it like a big comforter.
Yep.
These compression sacks are really important. So this bag, when you open it up, is going to be like this long. It's got these 4 straps on it, and you start sitting on it and cinching it down. Believe it or not, I want comfort in my tent. I have 2 full-size down pillows in here. That's my comfort thing.
So, Princess,
Well,
can you tell where the pee is in the stack of mattresses?
Show me where yours. Show me yours. Your size-wise. Let's compare.
Oh man!
Because I would say that it's worth it. 2 full-size down pillows.
Okay.
Wouldn't you say?
Sure.
I want my pillows.
He needs his pillows. Somebody needs his little beauty rest.
Pushing 50, I gotta have some comfort. I gotta
Now,
have comfort.
I didn't put it in my my bag. I do carry a pillow, but it's one of those awesome travel pillows that compresses
There's
down.
nothing awesome about those things.
I love it. It's great. It compresses nice and small. It's perfect. What I end up using is, if not my clothing bag, I'll actually use my war bag as the main pillow part, and then the nice fluffy pillow goes on top.
Bon appetit!
What'd you make? Made a burrito. Dude, you're the best. Perfection. Thanks, Cody.
Is it good? So one of the worst things about wildland firefighting is all the dishes we have to do. Hey, would you like to do the dishes? Oh, thank you. Such a chore.